Hey there, welcome to Contracts and Chaos. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Brenna, and we're here to tell you that you are not alone in the mayhem of this real estate industry.
We're keeping it real and sharing our stories, strategies, and successes in today's real estate world.
So come join us every Tuesday while we talk contracts and chaos. All right, take us away. We have a good one today.
We do have a good one today. We are talking about Sharran Srivatsa's 5-star prospect system for realtors. And this is a system used to rank your leads that come in to see, okay, who do I give time to here? Who am I nurturing? So that you're not wasting energy on the wrong clients. Because we've all done it. I ranked a client or re-ranked a client yesterday, day before, and was like, if she reaches out, or not, she is a client, but if she reaches out, then she reaches out. But I'm not reaching out at this point other than automated things because she stopped responding. So,
yeah, and re-rank it, and we'll talk about that too. Re-ranking is not a bad thing. Like,
no,
it's
not at
really, it's to help you focus on what's important and who's moving now, So, and we get those leads, whether you're paying for leads, whether you're just getting them off of like Facebook Marketplace or people messaging you, or hey, somebody sent you a referral. This will work for all of those, and it's very clear. It's very helpful if you have it like set up on a Trello board or even on a whiteboard in your office so you can see it. So when you're doing that follow up, and you can move them if you need to. But this is just the first time that I heard Sharran talk about this. I was like, this makes so much sense, right? Especially for me being a visual person. I love it.
Right.
So it's very easy. It's 5 steps or 5 stars. So 5 stars, we're ready to rock and roll. But seeing the process in between. So if you're putting out lead magnets that are more like top of funnel and you're getting people that reach out, this is just a really easy way to track that pipeline and watch people come down that funnel into that transaction readiness.
Yeah,
So
it really is. And like, I had a client, it started as a lead at an open house. All I had was a mailing address. So I sent a thank you card. So they would have been like, not even a 1-star because and then all of a sudden they text me one day. Okay, well, that bumps them up. And then we bought a house and I was like, okay. And then we come back down to 1 or 2. I mean, probably. Yep. And then all of a sudden again, hey, we need to buy another house. Like the first one was for their kids. This one was for them. So yeah, re-ranking and watching them move up and down and knowing where we are truly, like you said, helps you focus where we're putting our energy, where we're putting our resources too. Like if we're a 1 or less, then they're probably just going on an automated drip or something because they're not responding. So let's dive into this. So we've kind of mentioned like a 1 and a 5.
Yeah, this is very similar. It's very similar if you've ever worked with cold, nurture, hot, like those kinds of things, but broken up into 5 stars, which makes it easier for me to compute.
Right?
Personally.
Yes. Because like, because cold, hot, I mean, I think that's all.
5 stars is easier.
Yeah,
5 stars. I feel like that's a visual that everyone can wrap their head around.
Right.
Like, because I feel nurture means different things to different people. Like, cold is different. 5 stars, everybody can wrap their head around 5 stars. We all know what 5 stars means.
Right. Yeah. Think of it as like restaurant ranking. I know which restaurants are 5 stars in my book. Okay, so the first one is obviously 1 star. It's going to be the lowest. They're willing to engage with you. Like maybe they reached out or they were a paid lead or something. They're willing to have a conversation, but they may or may not ghost. And if they ghost, then they're not even a prospect. They go
don't
back.
keep them in a 1 star.
They lose all their stars until they re-engage.
Yes.
So
and that's like you said, that's something like for my listings, I'll start pushing them out on like Facebook Marketplace, right? So you'll get those stupid automatic buttons. Is this still available? Yeah, those, and you can respond with all the information in the world. Some of them will respond. If they respond, that's a 1 star. They're willing to engage.
Right.
If you say, yes, the property is available. Has anyone taken the time to go over with you what it takes to buy a home in today's market? And nothing comes back. That's not a 1 star. That's 0. That's a 0 star. Don't put them anywhere.
Right. Or
Um,
I have a 1 star sitting in my CRM. I actually got from an open house I did for you, that house that fell
mm,
out 3 times.
oh God, don't talk
And
about that.
yeah, they
Uh,
are kind of a long game. I thought they were a 0 star. Every couple of months, he'll respond to an automated email and say, "Hey, can you adjust this? This is how our
yep.
needs have changed, or we want to look at this area as well." And it's like, okay, he's still a 1 star. He's still,
Hmm.
it may not be
Engaging.
regularly, but he is engaging. And I look and he's opening emails that are sent. So that's how I rank my 1 stars. As long as they're responding in a certain amount of time and you can build it how you want. For
Yep.
him, I'm okay with it being every 6 months because I know that I'm like, he's got a drip
It'll
campaign
churn.
going. He's getting sent listings. But he's truly a, when it's the right one, it'll be the right one, and we're not even gonna go look at anything until I see some. Okay, like fine, that's
Great. Yep.
right. It's less time wasted for
Great.
me. So go, like go sit there
Exactly. When
now.
they start your second star, when they start, we call it friendly and collaborative, right? When they're responding to most everything that you send, when they're making suggestions of things, you might have sent them a listing that, actually, we really want the primary on the main level, like those kinds of things. Or if you're sending them a home bot report and they respond and they're like, actually, the tax records are wrong. It's 1,800 square feet, not 2,000 square feet, or things like that, where you can have a back and forth conversation that is, friendly and collaborative. That bumps them up into a 2 star. It might not mean that they're ready to rock and roll on anything, buying or selling, but they're more interactive than somebody that just once in a while will engage with what you're offering.
Yes, and but there are some red flags with them too.
Mm-hmm.
So if they suddenly stop responding or they're guarded, like you can tell they're not giving you the whole story, or there's something they're holding back,
Mm-hmm.
um, or they're difficult. Like if they're giving you the runaround, or like I have one right now, I mentioned her earlier. She was a 5 star. We were out looking at houses, and now all of a sudden she's probably a 0 star because
Oh,
she's just
yikes.
stopped responding. But I should have, as we were looking at houses, realized she was more of a 2, maybe a 3,
Mm-hmm.
because she wouldn't, other than saying, well, this house needs too much work, there was no real feedback from
Feedback.
her.
There's
There was
no
no
reason.
specifics. And
Mm-hmm.
like I found her a perfect house, fully redone, new roof, new water heater, $115,000, and good craftsmanship. Like it wasn't a horrible flip. And it was a so she's down to a 0 right now. But those are things, if they're, especially if you've moved them to a 5 in your showings, but if in conversation it feels like you're having to pull, then they
Mm-hmm.
may not actually be a 2, is the one thing
Yeah.
I've learned.
And this is important for using this entire system. It's important throughout your whole business. You need to be honest with yourself. You know,
Yes.
yes, we want them to be a 5 star client. We want them to want to transact in the next 30 days. Is that actually their goal? Is that what is actually going to happen? Or is that what you're like, ooh, I think they're ready?
Right.
Because this is just more to be respectful of your time as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wasting time on people that aren't actually 5 star ready to go is only eating up time that you could be pouring into maybe some more 2s or 3s or 4s to get them to that 5 star readiness. Then focusing on the 5 stars that aren't truly or not 5 stars.
Right. And I was literally just going to say what you said is every time I've encountered where I realized someone wasn't actually a 5 star, and I don't want to say let them go, but I reevaluated the energy I was giving them and others.
Mm-hmm.
It opened up into much better things. It opened up, like the first time it happened, I was so upset. I lost something under contract. I don't even remember what it was at this point. That's how. And I got my first $1 million closing. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally 3 days later, they were like, "We want to go buy this house," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yep.
So your like, I don't, isn't there a phrase about something like where your energy flows, blah 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 blah, your business
Mm-hmm.
grows, or something like that. Um,
Yep.
so
And also what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on these 1 and 2 star, truly 1 and 2 star people, that's all you're going to collect is these
right.
1 and 2 star people. Okay, star number three is clear on what they want. So to me, clear, and these can, you can read into these however you categorize them, but for me, what they want is they're more than just having a conversation with me. They have already thought about this before they've ever had a conversation with
Right.
me.
Like they're the
They're
people that
like,
went to the open house without you and then called and said,
yes,
okay, we're ready.
this is what we're thinking about. They're at home and they're not watching Netflix. They're scrolling through Zillow, checking out what they're wanting. They have decided that this two-bedroom apartment is not for them anymore. They need that third bedroom. They don't want people running over their heads at 10 o'clock in the evening. They have an idea of what's important to them, what they're looking for, and they're not tire kickers anymore. They have their favorites. They know what they're looking for, and they're like, okay, here's what I want. Can you make that happen? And that is where we come in. You're like, yes, we can.
Right. And that's where we ask more specific qualifying questions
Mm-hmm.
of, okay, do you have a pre-approval? Are you working with a local lender? Um, what do you actually want your monthly payment to be versus what you were approved for?
That is such an important question that I feel like
Hmm.
nobody asks.
Yeah, because I've done it. I mean, I've learned my lesson, but someone thinks they're approved for a $300,000 house, but they only want their payment to be 1,100 a month.
That's not a $300,000 house,
Well, I
folks.
mean, if you're putting 200,000 down on it, then it is.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the most important, honestly, the most important question I think you could ask is, what do you want your monthly payment to be? And
Mm-hmm.
let's go back to your lender and see where that actually shakes out. And do you want your monthly payment to include, like that number to include your homeowner's insurance, your taxes, and your PMI if you have one? Or is
Yep.
that okay, mortgage is fine at that. I understand taxes and things will
That
be
there's going to be
more.
flexibility on
Right.
top
Like
of
we
that.
need to
Yep.
clarify that.
Mm-hmm.
But other things like, is there a specific school district we need to be in? Do we have to have an office or could we do an extra bedroom that's slash guest room slash office? Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is where we're
And these are
talking.
things they'll have answers to those questions.
Yes.
If they're not truly a number three, they'll be like, oh, I mean, three bedrooms is fine. A fence would be nice. We
Right.
don't do a lot outdoors. I think I want 3 acres,
Right.
like
Or like,
otherwise,
or
they want a front porch because they like to sit outside and have coffee. They're looking for a fenced in backyard because they have two golden doodles. Like they
right.
have already thought out these things of what they need, what's missing in their life. That's another great question. What is missing
Yes.
in your home now that you need?
Right.
That's another great
If you
question.
asked me that question, it's more space. I need two bedrooms in an office or a three-bedroom that I can use one as an office because two-bedroom is just too small these days.
Mm-hmm.
And I want a finished garage that I can actually use as storage and not worry about rodents because this carriage house,
It's
not
not
cutting
working
it.
out for you anymore.
Not cutting it. I can build a fence, but I don't want to build a garage.
Okay, tell us about number four because we can know what we want, but what's the net? Like, there's more beyond that.
Right. So
Um,
they know what they want and they have a timeline.
See,
They're
this is
like,
where Alyssa is a 3-star prospect.
right.
She knows what she wants, but star number four is she has no idea what the timeline looks like for that. So,
Someone just deleted that first sentence, but we're fine. Um, um, yeah, and like, is it urgent? Is it a long term? So like, I sent a referral out the other day. I have a good family friend who is relocating. She just walked all over the keyboard and deleted a bunch of stuff, but that's fine. We'll work with it.
it's fine.
Who is relocating for work and was like, I have to start my job in Greensboro April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she has to sell a house in Virginia too, and it's today's January 21st. And I was like, okay, I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
not tight, but it could be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they have a timeline, and it might be, they could be a 4-star with an extended timeline. And I think that's
Yes,
something people forget.
that's 100%
Right. They
possible.
could be, this is exactly what we want. And if it
It's a
takes
year
six
away.
months, right, then
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. But if the perfect house comes up now, then that's fine. Or it could be we know exactly what we want, but we have to wait a year. Okay, well now I know I need to nurture them a little more.
Hmm.
Um,
But that doesn't mean set them and forget them, like put
right,
them on the back burner, because that's when you lose those people. I've had more instances where they're like, it's a 6 to 8 month, like we're looking in the summer, and then staying in touch with them suddenly when they thought that they weren't going to move until October, November, for example, suddenly May comes around and they're like, oh, wow, this is it. This is the house. And now we've closed 6 months before they thought we were ever going to do it.
right,
So, this is so important to not put these long term fours in a category where you're not consistently talking to them, where you're, even if they say 6 months and a house pops up that fits their criteria that I know, that send it to them, because then they know that you're still thinking about them even though they're 6 to 8 months out, that, and have that conversation, because again, it could be, oh my gosh, that is the house,
right,
now we're going to pull the trigger right now.
right. And I did that yesterday. Are you going to Jimmy's event on Friday in Shelby? Anyway, or yeah, Friday. I'll talk to you about it later. But there's a builder, a local builder who specializes in building affordable housing. Like I don't think meant unless it's because of location. I don't think much of his stuff goes over 500. Like
Mm,
he focuses on finding a small infill lot, putting a cute 3-bedroom house on it, and it's usually under 300. I have a client who we canceled everything last year. We had a listing, we were under contract, and she got nervous and canceled everything. She told me she wanted to wait a year. And I was like, okay, well, I know he's having this big open house event in the town she lives in and wants to stay in because we were looking at new construction. So I invited her to this event on Friday and I said, hey, even if you're not ready, come look so that you know what this dude builds, so that
yes.
you can see, so that we can talk to him about what's the process. We can work on a timeline.
Hmm.
Um, she's having heart surgery yesterday, so her daughter responded, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm making sure I'm engaging with her so that, yeah, I happened to drive by her house the other day and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
good, nobody else is for sale sign is in the yard. She didn't
No,
lie to
that's,
me.
it is,
So,
it's so important. And even like those shorter timelines, like I'm working with two right now, buyers that reached out around Christmas, and one this past week, that their leases are up in April and May, right?
mm-hmm,
That's a reasonable timeline.
right,
And then you have these conversations with them. Well, do you have the ability to go month to month? Is this something that, like, if you don't have a house, you have to re-sign another year long term? Those are all great conversations to have in this fourth star rating, because that helps you understand the flexibility or the urgency of what has to happen. Or you get a call for a listing and they're like, oh, I'm going to start my new job in 6 weeks. You think we can
mm.
sell and buy in that timeline?
If we price it and market correctly, yes.
Yes. But oh my God. Okay. And then we get to our favorite part, which is 5 stars.
Yay,
And
we
this
love
is
our five
this is the
stars.
determining piece that I feel like you can be a 4 star prospect all day long. But if
Mm-hmm.
they don't want your help, and that is what makes a 5 star, they want your help. If they don't want your help, you're not going to go anywhere.
Right,
It's never going to lead into anything. It's just like a relationship. If she's just not into you, if they're not into you, it's just not going to work out. So I think that this is super important, because I mean, I've had conversations with people and it hasn't had happened very often. We just don't work, you
right.
know? And it could be a scheduling thing. They get off of work at 7 o'clock and they need to tour houses at 7:30 at night. That's not
That is
that's
not
not
going to
my
be
jam.
Brenna's client. That'll
No,
be
it's not
Brenna.
my client.
That'll be Brenna sending me a referral. Hey,
Yeah,
Liz.
exactly. Like those kinds of things. Like sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it's grosser things than that. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
just, we've talked about,
Sometimes,
unfortunately, they're just not great people that
right. Or
just,
sometimes it's the opposite. We could go 180 degrees the other way, and they're going to tell you, well, God will tell me, and give you a whole Bible story about a wet carpet and then a dry carpet. And I'm like, I can't control the carpets. So you let me know when God
oh my
says, because that's what I ran into recently. And I was like,
You don't know the story of the dew on the. Oh,
I
it
guess
is so
that is one
gorgeous.
Bible story I don't know. Um, or I had clients tell me, God, literally, they said, God will tell us, God will give us a sign. And they wanted land on a specific road by their children. We looked at everything
Hmm.
else, nothing else fit. I finally, and this is a road where no one sells. For 100 years, no one has sold land.
Yeah, because they've just been there
Right. It's
for
family, like, yeah,
generations.
generation after
Hmm.
generation. Finally got the land. The perk test was going to take 4 months. The sellers didn't
Hmm.
really want to extend. And I said, we could hire a soil scientist. And they said, nope, it's a sign from God if it doesn't work out. Well, my God story is he sent the Coast Guard to save the drowning guy. He sent the fishing boat, and the guy kept saying, God will save me. And then he drowned, and God said, I sent you the Coast Guard. I sent you the fishermen.
I was just gonna tell
He
this
sent a
story
soil
about the guy.
scientist.
He said, so I have clients too, and I mean, I love Jesus, and this is a whole nother topic for another day,
Right.
but I do believe that things fall into place that are supposed to fall into place, but you also have to put yourself in a position for those things to fall into place.
Exactly.
That's it. Like we have to
Exactly.
make you have to get in the boat that God provides. That's the end of
Exactly.
that story.
Exactly. And I can only bring so many boats. Like,
Right, I can only swim so far.
yes.
That's
Yes.
that. Oh my god, that's
But yeah, so
hilarious.
the way to get these 5 stars who say, how do we get them from a 4 to a 5 to say you're the person I want to work with? Because how many of us have friends who reach out, hey, I like this house, can we go look at it? That's not a 5 star. That's
Mm-mm.
not. I'm going to tell you right, and I have a friend who does it repeatedly, and I literally am like, okay, what's going on? Let's talk about this. Well, we just want to look at it. Nope. This is my business. I don't come to your restaurant and say I'm going to sit at this table but not order food or tip you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's.
Or ask you to bring me food, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna try it.
Right. Right.
Just let me taste it
Right.
first.
So, how do we position ourselves as the go-to expert? Like, what do you do? Like,
Well, I
through
think
this
that this
one.
is several parts of it, though, too. So
Yes.
you have to be like through our social media, always with the information, people realizing that you're in the business, you know the business, that kind of thing. But once you get into the actual client agent relationship, like you need to come from a place of contribution so hardcore. For buyers right now, I love and sellers really. I've been living high note this year.
Yes. I need to build mine
It's
out.
it's a killer. It really is because I can be like, hey, I have all of this information. It's for North Carolina. Yes, it has all my information in there too, but this will help you no matter who you go with. This is all information that will be important to you and your journey ahead. And I gotta say, I don't think that there's that many agents out there using it, and it's so
Nope.
nugget piece by piece. Like you can take it at your own pace. Like it's not an hour long phone call where I blab on about documents and agency and fiduciary duty and all of that stuff. You can take it in bite sized nuggets. And I think that this is even more important for those people that are threes and fours
Yes.
because it just consistently adds information to them, and that's the biggest thing. You want to make a connection. It's more than just a transaction. It needs to be a connection for them to feel like you are the one that they know, trust, and eventually will love because you've been that resource, you've been that connection and those answers for them throughout their journey, not just, oh yeah, I'll sell you a house right now, but we've nurtured them into a friend, a client, somebody that they're like, yes, I would trust Brenna, I would trust Alyssa to help me with the biggest purchase of my life.
Right. Well, and that's what I had a new lead yesterday, a referral from an agent out of state. And she had an online mortgage pre approval, but they hadn't like walked her through anything. So I asked her all the questions and referred her. I actually need to send her to the lenders today because everyone was closed yesterday. But I asked, asked some not pointed questions, but specific questions. What are you really looking for? Where do you really need to be? what do you want your monthly payment? Has anyone walked you through this? And I even said to her, I said, because she thanked me at the end, and I was like, listen, like, this is the biggest investment you may make in your life. I don't want you to walk through this alone. Like, I'm here to hold your hand and make
Mm-hmm.
sure it doesn't get messed up. And she was like, no one has said that to me. Everyone I've talked to has just been like, all right, let's go look at houses. And I was like, no, that's not how I do this. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, have you ever, have you ever bought a house before? No. I said, well, then let's see if we can get you some down payment assistance. Because do you have a down payment? Oh, I didn't
Right.
think about that. So, yeah, you need to do, even if they are a 5-star and they're like, we want to work with you. If for some reason you haven't asked those questions or had those conversations, now we drill it in again or dial it in again so that make sure they really are a 5-star. Because
Yes.
lots of people can say they want to work with me, but that doesn't mean they're actually ready to buy a
Mm-hmm.
house. So they may
And
come back
then,
to a 4 until they're truly ready.
right. And the last part of 5-star, get it in writing. Get that agency
Yes.
agreement, get that listing agreement, make them commit to you. This is not an open relationship. You want to work with me,
We're
I want to
not
work with
poly.
you.
We're not polyamorous. This is just, we're monogamous.
No,
Thank you.
like it's, and everybody laughs when and it's in one of my high note videos too. Like, listen, the idea behind this, you will find a non exclusive buyer agency agreement in North Carolina. I won't sign one. I
Right.
won't sign one. I am in it for the long haul. I am a commitment kind of person. So if you're willing to be in this with me, then I am in it all the way with you.
Right.
But this is not
I need
date
you to.
around and find out. This is a commitment. And everybody laughs, everybody thinks it's funny, but I'm
No, it
serious. I
is.
won't sign it.
Right.
I
Well,
won't do it.
I won't do it either. I'll do one for like a day. If you're
Mhm.
new and you're like, you know what, I'm kind of nervous. All right,
Sure, let's go on a date
let's go
first.
on a
But
date.
then,
But if we want to see houses after that, then this is a long term. I
mhm.
actually I need you to send me your high note because all of the templates I've looked at, I'm like, these are boring and I don't get it. And I don't know how she's converting with these. But like when you talk about yours, I'm like, yeah, yeah,
It
I
sounds
love
so
this.
different. Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah,
can you
it's
just
fun.
email to pretend I'm a prospect so I can just like preview? I
And
won't steal it.
I've changed it so much, and I've only been using it since what, March?
Right?
I think it was March. And I've changed it and I've formatted it and I've deleted and I've added. And I'm just like, still experimenting because it is still so new, but people really do love it. They
Well, and I
do.
just need to dive into it. But like I said, like all the templates I'm seeing that they have, I'm like,
I just built my own because I
yeah,
hated their
I
templates.
think I just need some inspiration because I'm like, I don't, maybe I'll YouTube and see if anyone has theirs up there to see like, because, and if they don't, I'll be like, Brandon, can you email that to me? Because
Please,
I promise I
just send
won't
it to
steal
me.
the whole thing, but I just need some inspiration because I'm looking at these and I'm like, I don't get
This
it.
is not fun. Yeah, I have it's all colored. You'd be able to do your purple and your head.
Right.
I'll send it to you.
You're the best.
Anyways,
Anyway, so we've talked about why all leads aren't created equal. And that's this process, like we've said it 100 times probably on this episode, helps you focus on the right ones and it's going to save you time and energy. Like if
hmm
there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's that. It's that categorizing your leads or your prospects in this system is going to help you identify to where to focus your. And when I put people in my CRM, it's right in, like, I put it in the notes and pin it to the top. Like, they're currently a 5-star, they're currently a 3-star. I
hmm
put it as a hashtag so that I can search. Okay, who are my 1-stars right now? When's the last time I talked to them?
Oh, and I
So
was going to say that too. Whatever systems you're using, whether it's a CRM and you can put those colored tags in there, create a tag 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 star. Your email lists, if you know that somebody is a 5-star, tag them as a 5-star. That way you are more consistent, or more business oriented emails are always going to those people.
right,
If you're using Trello, like have a board, a 5-star, 4-star, and then that's an easy click, drag, and drop. If they went from a 5 to a 2, move them. Be honest with
right,
yourself. Be honest with those clients. If they are, oh, I haven't heard from you in a while, or if they're like, listen, we're going to take some time. And this happened to me last year. They were looking for a house. She decided she was going to go back to school. They renewed their lease for another year, right? That's great. She's doing something that's bettering their life. Does it put us on hold? It sure does. But at that point, I'm like, that's amazing. We know now that you're not going to start looking until February or March of this coming year because you'll be in school, right? We already know that. So this is not me not talking to you anymore. This is me that is going to respect you, your wishes, and your time. And I'm going to reach out to you when I see things that I think are going to work for you. But if not, that's okay too. Um, so I think our suggestion for you this week is go ahead, look at your pipeline that you have coming up for the next 30, 60, 90 days, even a year. Give yourself a notebook piece of paper, get those people in there, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and be honest with yourself and start setting up a follow up plan with those leads, those clients, based on how they rank in your system. And take a look at what your pipeline looks like based on true 5 stars versus those leads that maybe have messaged you back and forth twice on Facebook.
Right. Yes, exactly. Perfect. Well, on that note, I think that's it. And we will see y'all next week.
We just finished another episode of Contracts and Chaos, but believe me, the chaos does not stop here. So check out the show notes for our email address and where to follow us on socials, and we will see you next week.